Okay, let's have a look at our first demo here, and we'll do two things in this demo. Firstly, we'll have a look at how we filter the pivot charts, and secondly, we'll drill into and out of the pivot chart. So here we are back in Excel, and I'm in my drill down sheet here. Now you can see I've got a fairly sophisticated pivot chart on the sheet here. You can see I've got a filter, which is the to-go filter, whether I drink my coffee in or out. I've got a legend where we're looking at which year the sale was made in. The values is the sum of the price or the revenue. And then on the axis, we've got three specific categories. We've got city, whether the coffee was decaf or not, and the product. Now, because I've added multiple axes onto the pivot chart, then I've been given these two buttons, effectively an expand button, the little plus there, and a collapse button, the little minus. Let's close the pivot chart area and then maximize the pivot chart so that we can really get a good view of what we're doing here. So in terms of interactivity, let's just look at the to-go filter initially. So if I just wanted to concentrate on sales where people took their coffee out of a shop, then I'd select to go equals yes. And then you can see the pivot chart changes slightly to represent that filter. We could do a similar thing for the legend, so let's just go and select a single year 2018. And you can see the title has changed just to reflect that. That's a neat feature. Now, what about the expand or collapse buttons here? Let's select the plus button to expand the entire field. So now we get two columns for each city. The first column is the fact that coffee was regular, i.e. it's not decaffeinated, and the second, marked yes, is the representation of the decaffeinated coffee sales. We could expand again, and then we further break down the sales by product. Now, in this case, there's too much to fit on this chart, and this is where being able to filter some of the data also is advantageous. So let's just go and say we're interested in San Diego and Dallas. So we can just filter on the city field, select our valid stores, and just concentrate on that data. We also have some interactivity from the axis field. So if I select the axis, and here I've actually selected near San Diego, and I have some options to expand or collapse. So I can collapse just San Diego, or I could collapse the entire field, the values that are being displayed, in this case San Diego and Dallas. I'm just going to collapse San Diego. So you can now see I've got a single value for all of the sales in San Diego, but my Dallas sales are still split into decaffeinated versus regular, and then for each of those by each product. Let's just right click on Dallas and collapse that to decaf. And again, you can see we've just collapsed the product for Dallas. So we're looking at Dallas decaf coffee or regular coffee, and we still have the single figure for San Diego. I could expand or collapse once again, and in this case I'm just going to collapse the entire field. So I'm left with the cities that I selected in my filter. I'm also able to have multiple filters for the categories, so if I was only interested in decaf sales, then I could just select where decaf equals yes. Now if I double click on a data point, you'll see that it drills down a level based upon the filters that I've got, and if I double click again, then it drills down a further level. So this is an easy way of drilling down into the pivot chart, and of course I could use my little collapse entire field button here to drill back up. And I could go back in and select all the cities and just see the decaf sales for all of the cities.